5 Times Tony Denied Having a Kid by Katie the Book Nerd. Chapter 5. The 5th Time, May Parker. Tony stood outside the door of the small apartment uneasily. Sure, he'd been to hundreds, maybe even thousands of dinner parties. But this one was different. He isn't here to offer or accept money, pick up women, or drink as much alcohol as possible. He was here for something special. Peter's birthday. He glanced down one more time at the present in his hands, unsure if it was good enough. He usually would give something extravagant or expensive, but he knew that wasn't what Peter appreciated. The teen arachnid preferred heartfelt and homemade gifts that meant something, and that scared the hell out of Tony. What if the kid didn't like it? This didn't fall under an area of his expertise, or even close. Tony finally just swallowed all his insecurities and knocked on the door. When the door swung open, he was met with a burning smell and a bright smile. "Hey, Mr. Stark! I'm glad you could make it. Sorry about the smell. Maid tried to make spaghetti but completely burnt it. We just ordered Chinese. Come on in." He stood back and allowed Tony to slip through the door. Here, kid." He thrust his gift out to him. "Happy birthday." "Thanks, Mr. Stark. You really didn't have to get anything for me. You already do so much, and—"
"Just accept the gift," he smiled at Peter.
The Parkers' apartment had changed ever so slightly since Tony had last been in it, but it was just as homey as he remembered. He tried to hide a fond smile when he noticed the little details that made it seem so well lived in. A half-constructed Lego set out on the table, an old sweatshirt draped over the back of a chair, grocery bags still stacked up on their kitchen counter. They both headed over to where May was in the living room, which made Tony a bit uncomfortable. Even though they somewhat got along, as May set Tony as an emergency contact for Peter due to the amount of time they spent together, but things had still been tense since she found out about Peter's spiderly extracurriculars.
"Hi, May."
He smiled politely. "Hi, Tony," she replied in the same way. "Okay, so the Chinese food will be here any minute, and the cake's in the oven, and all my homework is done. You know what that means?" Peter asked excitedly.
"Presents?"
May and Tony both replied, knowing Peter. "Yep," Peter answered, reaching for Tony's present. Tony rubbed the back of his neck sheepishly and told the kid,
"I know you don't like fancy extravagant things, which is what I'm best at, so I tried my best to do something personal. I hope you like it, but don't think it's weird or anything. It wouldn't be a big deal, but—"
Peter cut him off by giving him a big smile and saying, "I'm sure it will be amazing, Mr. Stark." "I'm sure it'll be amazing, Mr. Stark." He carefully took off the specially selected Spider-Man wrapping paper, which made him chuckle, to reveal the present. An old, rusty set of keys. Peter looked over at the older man, slightly confused.
"I talked it over with May, and since you just turned 16, I figured you might want to be driving. Now, I know a car is a really big impersonal gift."
Peter smiled even bigger.
"So these keys are for an old, rusty car I got for cheap. So, if you want, of course, you can help me fix it up. And then you can actually have something to drive."
Peter's jaw dropped. "No way! This is amazing, Mr. Stark! Thank you so much!" He leaned over and gave the engineer a hug. Tony was shocked and tense for a moment before he returned it. The rest of the night was a lot of fun, much to Tony's relief. They finished opening the presents, ate as much Chinese food as they possibly could, which Tony insisted on paying on in return for their hospitality, and, eventually, it was time for the night to end. Peter gave him a quick hug and thanked him one last time, before running into the other room to talk to Ned, who had called him about his plans to celebrate Peter's birthday. Tony and May stood there for a few seconds, unsure of what to say. "Thank you." May finally broke the silence. Tony gave her an incredulous look.
"For what?"
"Everything," she replied simply. "I was wrong about you. I assumed you were just another selfish, arrogant celebrity. And maybe you are. But not with Peter. I have always done my best, especially since Ben. But it's been years since I've seen him this happy."
"Really?"
Tony asked, equally surprised and touched. Definitely, she told him. I do my best, but I know there are some spots I can't fill. It's good for him to have another parental figure in his life. Especially a dad.
What? Why does everyone assume he's my kid? I'm not a parental figure. I'm not even that good with kids. Tony questioned, shocked.
She gave him a small smile, telling him, You could have fooled me. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that. Oh, I absolutely love that one. Lovely little chapter. Oh boy, that was just so nice. You know, just lovely. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Bye!